America's in the eye of a storm right now, both politically and literally. Hurricane Helene has become one of the most destructive natural disasters in recent memory, with over 200 people so far who have tragically lost their lives, some of them my own neighbors. I've seen the devastation firsthand here in South Carolina, as well as the incredible courage and spirit of rescue workers here. Fortunately, both myself and my house are still standing, because here is a clip from my yard that shows you just how close the trees fell. Take a look at this.
You can see here my backyard after the hurricane hit, so this is kind of what I'm dealing with at the moment. Luckily, we've got crews on site and they have been extremely helpful, so thank you to all the electricians, line workers, everyone who's been helping us out here, and everyone across the country. I just want to say thank you. Luckily, I am safe and it didn't completely destroy my house. Unfortunately, not all my neighbors were so lucky, but thank you again to everyone who's been helping out with everything going on in all of these different states.
But you know something crazier? As the country's hit with the most devastating hurricane storm in decades right now, the election, we're seeing candidates unable to resist the temptation of turning relief efforts into a political ad campaign. Trump just lambasted Kamala Harris for a photo op while on an airplane because there was one small problem with the picture he picked out, which I think is hilarious. This looked as artificial as Harris's entire campaign, with an earphone that wasn't even plugged in and a pen in her hand on an empty piece of paper. As the post read, "Our administration will continue to stay in constant contact with state and local officials." Trump retweeted that exact post with the caption that read in part, "Another fake and stage photo from someone who has no clue what she's doing. You have to plug the cord into the phone for it to work." And that's what has opened the floodgates to a new back and forth between the political candidates over who's doing what for the effects of Hurricane Helene. Donald Trump ripped into the current administration with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, alleging them of using the relief efforts for political optics.
You know, she was caught yesterday on an airplane staging a fake photo op. Did you see that with the telephone? The only problem is she didn't have the phone plugged in. You know, she's talking on the phone. The phone is not plugged in. She's talking like she's working. You know, I'm working so hard. Oh boy, what a group. What a group.
But that's just the start of it, because a massive natural disaster like this less than a month before such a decisive election could have an impact on the voters, because that's Joe Biden as president and then Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee are now facing a really important test. And it's a test of whose success or failure will be very fresh in people's memory when they go out to vote on November 5th. And it's very easy to see the current administration frantically struggling to give up the appearance that they're up for the challenge of these massive relief efforts. That's despite the fact that no one from the political party of the Republicans seem willing to let go of any moment to criticize Biden's presidency. For example, Donald Trump Jr. wrote on X in a response to Kamala Harris announcing the $750 in immediate assistance for the people affected in the hurricane. He wrote saying $750 for Americans in desperate need, many of whom lost everything, including family. $250 billion spent in Ukraine, with a population of around 38 million equals a bit more than $6,500 per person in effing Ukraine. For what? Enough of this madness. This is actually a pretty good sentiment that carries over to a lot of people in the Republican Party, but also myself as a libertarian. And mainstream media is coming back at Donald Trump, accusing him of politicizing the current natural disaster. Here's what Representative Byron Donalds said on a CNN panel earlier this week.
Donald Trump takes every issue, every problem, and makes it worse by making it about himself and making it political. Why is Trump politicizing this? I mean, people are literally still trying to get out from under the water right now.
I don't think he's politicizing it at all. He's responding to the crisis. Dana just came out. I didn't even know this. Thank you for reporting that the Trump campaign has come out with a GoFundMe page for the people who are affected. He's on the ground to actually talk directly to the people who are being impacted on day one. And I do understand what it means when a president comes in. My district was hit 2 years ago, the same time period with Hurricane Ian. Joe Biden came to Southwest Florida. You know, we toured some damage. The real implications are going to be what happens when the president leaves or when the cameras turn to the next thing. is FEMA going to still do the job necessary by those communities?
The truth is simple. None of this political back and forth can even matter for the voters if they see the work on the ground happening to get people's life back in order. This administration also got some heat last year for its lackluster response to the Maui wildfires last year, which is just something that leaves open the door for political opponents to criticize. Even right now, there are some people, especially civilian rescue workers and aid agencies, that are complaining at the lack of swift assistance from the government. Particularly, Joe Biden has been criticized for being too slow to give out the necessary Title X orders that allow U.S. military personnel to officially get started with rescue and relief efforts, as well as using military equipment and helicopters where needed. Here's one of those aid workers calling on the government to allow helicopter assistance to get people out of harm's way.
My name's Jonathan Howard. I'm a member of the Florida State Guard Special Missions Unit, and I'm also up here with Aerial Recovery, a nonprofit. I came up here on Sunday with Aerial Recovery before we even got activated. We flew up here, and then we got activated, which is great. I have my team up here working as well. Here's the problem. I'm going to tell you everything that's happening from the ground, what I'm actually seeing, because what they're telling you is complete on the news, and these politicians don't have a clue and they're lying. And I'll say this now, I'll say it at the end of the video. The only thing I need from this video is helicopters. If I have helicopters, I can save lives. Without helicopters, I can't reach these people. It doesn't matter how many chainsaws and trucks I got, I can't get to them. They're 10 miles in, 20 miles, 40 miles in the mountains. There's no way to get with them or even communicate with them. I am literally flying around in a civilian helicopter looking for SOS messages carved in the mud or painted on the ground, and then we're dropping down and saving them. What got me fired up about this was yesterday, me and my team did the rescue of that 11-day-old baby. And all these government officials and social media, they're showing that video, that pictures and video of that rescue, and claiming that like they have some like government helped with that. This is the kind of political BS that is happening here right now. Like everyone's trying to be in charge without taking any type of action. Nobody wants to coordinate with anybody. Everybody wants to pretend like they're being the hero while these people are literally dying in the mountains. And these people, like I'm saying, these people are limited medication, they're running out of oxygen, and there's no one going to get them. The most effective way I have found to go find these people is by getting in a helicopter and flying down the rivers and roads and looking for SOS messages or people waving us down. And then we drop down and get them. We have all these people here. We have law enforcement, we have State Guard, National Guard. They have no way to go get these people. Yesterday when I was at the Asheville airport refueling, which by the way, the civilian is paying all this out of his own pocket. He's not even looking for a reimbursement. I think we did 4 refuelings yesterday. And that was like just in half a day's work. We're in Asheville, and I saw 2 Air Force Helicopter 60s. And I knew they were PJs just looking at them. And I went up to them like, hey guys, like, what are y'all doing? And like, this is what you need to be doing. This is how I'm finding people. And they're like, we can't go. We're waiting on Title X orders. And I'm like, what? They can't get any authority. There's military helicopters all over here sitting on the ground, and they can't do nothing. Even my JSOC boys in Fayetteville, they can't get orders to come out here. It is just the most disgusting thing, and they're killing these people. And I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know what kind of conspiracy. I've heard so many things, whatever you want to come up with, but they are literally allowing these people to die in the mountains right now because we can't get helicopters. They got money for everything else in the world right now, but if they could just get us helicopters, we could fly out there and rescue these people.
That's not a good look for the government in charge, especially so close to an election, but it's even more tragic for the people stuck in the flooded homes desperately waiting for assistance. Let's hope we can all rise above politics for just a moment here and do what's needed to get people the help they need. Let me know in the comments how you view the government assistance initiative so far, because there are many lives right now that hang in the balance as a result of this devastating hurricane.